I think the Judicial Services Commission, there's a sort of stodgy process-related quality about it that doesn't recognise realities.
Former Constitutional Court Justice Johan Kriegler has been ordered by the Judicial Services Commission to withdraw critical remarks that he made about Western Cape Judge President John Hlophe. Joining me to discuss is Sara Gon of the Daily Friend. So Sara, you have a background in the legal sector. Could you provide us with some context to this incident, and what does it reveal about the state of the judiciary at the moment?
Judge Kriegler made a public remark in March of last year that Judge John Hlophe, Western Cape Judge President, was unfit to be a judge. Now, although the reasons for his alleged unfitness were before the Judicial Services Commission, it was only considered late in the year, and a decision was made by the Commission late in the year that Hlophe had committed gross misconduct. And then what happened is that one advocate in Ngilwane, who had in early days acted for Judge Hlophe, but hadn't been involved for some years, but very active on Twitter apparently, lodged a complaint that it was inappropriate. It was an inappropriate remark. Essentially, it was uncollegiate, and that it should be withdrawn, retracted, and apology given to him, not actually to Hlophe. Hlophe did not make the complaint. So, given the fact that it happened over a year ago, one does have to question the motives of laying the complaint 1 and a bit years later. So that's essentially what the complaint was, and bearing in mind that the gross misconduct was interference with two constitutional judges to favour Zuma in legal proceedings.
So in his complaint against Judge Kriegler, Advocate Ngilwane said that it was important that Kriegler withdraw his remarks in order to, quote, vindicate the integrity, dignity, and independence of the judiciary and the judicial system. But you could argue that that is precisely what Kriegler was doing, was by criticizing Hlophe, he himself was standing up for the integrity, dignity, and independence of the courts by holding Judge President Hlophe to account. Do you think that that's a fair assessment?
Well, it's complicated. I mean, the Judicial Services Commission this matter has dragged on since 2008, and Freedom Under Law basically challenged a decision by the Judicial Services Commission in 2009, which found that Hlophe had not committed gross misconduct. 2 years later, a judgment came out in Freedom Under Law's favour, and this case has been inching its way to this point since 2008. So it is ridiculously long. The Judicial Services Commission does not have a great reputation for acting expeditiously, and that's been a great complaint against the Judicial Services Commission. So while technically speaking, it is a judge, even though he's retired, saying something negative about another judge, when you're given the fact of the extent of Freedom Under Law's involvement, they were a party to a number of the cases. They've been interested in a number of cases. They've put in papers for a number of cases. They have been highly, highly involved, and they know, and essentially, ultimately, their action against Hlophe was vindicated in the Judicial Services Commission decision towards the end of last year. I think they've been rather too rigid in their interpretation of this clause, and if one argues that it was uncollegiate and he shouldn't have done it, I would have said that it should, however, not, given the circumstances and the public knowledge, extensive public knowledge of this and other issues that have not yet even reached the Judicial Services Commission, I think that certainly a leeway should have been given to Judge Kriegler in this regard, and they should either have said it in the circumstances it wasn't collegiate, or if it was, it doesn't warrant any sanction or apology or withdrawal, something of that nature. It's a given what everyone knows about it, despite the Judicial Services Commission, I agree with you. It's essentially Judge Kriegler is trying to protect the integrity of the judiciary, not the other way around.
I mean, one could level the same allegation to Hlophe himself. He's been accused of intimidating judges, harassing them, trying to unduly influence them. Surely that is also a breach of the collegiality rules and the respect for one's colleagues. Obviously, he is now suspended technically, and he's currently in an appeal process for that. Is that correct?
That's correct. So he's done essentially a sort of Stalingrad process whereby he's just taken the legal process as far as he can go. But I mean, given the fact that he has publicly, there've been numerous complaints of appalling behavior. Obviously, you've got to go to the Judicial Services Commission to have it finally decided, but you expect a certain probity in the appearance of a judge's behavior, with or without it having got to the Judicial Services Commission stage. So, I think this is, to be quite honest, it's a storm in a teacup. It's, if not judicially, it's certainly I think in the public sphere, it's certainly not unjustified. I think most of us would agree with it. I think it should have been dismissed.
Right, and Kriegler in his original remarks said that not only should Hlophe be impeached, but he should also be prosecuted for some of the alleged actions. Do you think that there's credibility to those claims?
I think given, as I say, given his and the Freedom Under Law's involvement in the matter for as long as they have been, which is over 10 years, they and he would know whether there is a possible criminal case against Hlophe as well. So Kriegler has never had the reputation of being a man who isn't thorough and hasn't considered matters very carefully, and I think that should have been weighed as well. It's all, I think the Judicial Services Commission, there's a sort of stodgy sort of process-related quality about it that doesn't recognize realities.
Sara Gon, thank you very much. Let's hand over to you, our audience. Do you think it is fair that the JSC has ordered Judge Kriegler to withdraw his critical remarks about Judge Hlophe? Leave your thoughts down in the comments section below. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And do check out the link in the description below for our 30-day free trial, where you can sample all of our reports and analysis. My name is David Ansara. This is the CRA. Until next time, take care.